Well, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? So, welcome to the part two of our Jupiter and Saturn double transit phenomena. I made a video just 2 days ago on explaining to you how Jupiter and Saturn transit literally is responsible for every major event that happens in your life, whether it's a positive event or negative event, whether it's a positive event like marriage, children, academic achievements, career promotions, career wealth, or it's something like diseases, accidents, misfortunes. All of it is mainly seen or could be seen just from the transit of Jupiter and Saturn. But there were a lot of questions that were unanswered, and especially you guys had them, and I wish I would have just done it in there, but I realized that after I may finish the video, I'm like, well, I should have emphasized on this. And that major question is that, do you see the transit of Jupiter and Saturn from the ascendant or the moon? And I explained this on my Facebook, but I'm going to explain it here again with some examples. So when you look at the transit of Jupiter and Saturn, and by the way, before I even get started, you want to watch that part one video of this subject of Jupiter and Saturn transits, which should be either in my link below in the description section. And as always, if you want to know where your Jupiter and Saturn are currently transiting and where they're placed in your horoscope, for that, check out the links here and check out my books Astrology Conjunction and Aspects at the Speed of Light, including my full astrological and numerological report. So where do you see the transit of Jupiter and Saturn? Well, you see them from both. You see it from the ascendant itself, your first house, and you see it from the moon. It is equally important. There's, like I've said in the previous videos or in some previous statement, that okay, moon transits from moon or the ascendant is more important or this important. Well, that's all the transit. Like if you're going to look at a transit, look at it from the ascendant, because that's your ascendant. That is like the crop of the cream of the crop, because of the fact it is the moment that you were born. So it shows the exact mapping of your life. With moon, it just is a very main secondary help. This is why I always emphasize transiting from the ascendant. But I talk about mainly all the ascendant in general concept. Not this special transit of Jupiter and Saturn where they're both looking at the same house and they're both affecting the same house. That, is a bit different. So, but it still should be seen from both. From the moon placement, like where they are from the moon chart in Vedic astrology, which you'll also find on this link here, but also from your ascendant, also from your rising sign. And the reason why I say this is because if Jupiter and Saturn are promising an event from the ascendant, but they're not promising the event from the moon, that event will still take place. Or if Jupiter and Saturn are promising something from the moon, but are not promising from the ascendant itself, that event still could take place. Okay, so for that, let's give you an example. Let's talk about how Jupiter and Saturn transit can do two things, or attack two subjects with the same arrow, with one arrow. Okay, so if you see this on the chart, you have an Aries ascendant chart, and then you have Jupiter transiting currently in the third house in the sign of Gemini, and you have Saturn in the seventh house in the sign of Libra. Now, why is this important? Well, if you notice, Saturn is sitting in Libra in the seventh house, but Jupiter is aspecting the seventh house from its third house transit. That means seventh house is getting something significant happen here for a person. And what is seventh house? Seventh house is marriage, spouse mainly. It also represents business partnership. It represents fame. It represents, business and doing trade. So, and it also represents foreign journeys because it's fourth from the fourth house. So what do you think will happen now that Saturn is transiting in the seventh house? Jupiter is in the third house, looking at the seventh house. So this double transit phenomena will most likely have this person get married if they're in the proper age frame. If they're anywhere from 18 to 48, there's a huge possibility if this person is single, they will get married. or they will have a business partnership come into their life. Okay, so that's one way of looking at it from the ascendant. But let's say this, in this chart, this person also has a moon in Gemini in their birth horoscope. That means now we look at the same transit from the moon chart, that is in Vedic astrology, where it puts moon on the ascendant and all the planets are adjusted according to their placement from the moon. So now look at it from the moon. Jupiter is in the first house transiting from the moon, and Saturn is in the fifth house transiting from the moon. What does this mean? Jupiter looks at the fifth house and Saturn is transiting in the fifth house. That means fifth house is now having something significant happening. What is fifth house? Fifth house is children, birth of a child, academic achievements, creative self-expression, speculative business, politics. But mainly here what this could be happening is that this person can have a birth of a child in this 1 year time period where Jupiter is looking at the fifth house and Saturn is transiting in the fifth house. At the same time, this person was getting married too from their ascendant. So what could happen? They can get married and right away they can have a child. So two things are happening with this one placement. So now, let's say, for example, you have moon in, let's say you have moon in Scorpio for this person, okay? So moon being in Scorpio now, their ascendant is still Aries. That means marriage is still being signified. But now if they have moon in Scorpio, and if you turn that chart around and make Scorpio as the ascendant, from Scorpio, Saturn is now transiting the 12th house. And Jupiter is transiting the 8th house. What could be happening for this person? Well, Jupiter from the 8th house is looking at the 12th house, while Saturn is in the 12th house. And what this can show, that in this time period, not only this person can get married, but this person can suddenly go to foreign lands and meet a guru, meet a spiritual person who will teach them about spirituality, who will teach them about, what this life is about. They can suddenly find a guru in foreign lands, okay? And somebody on my Facebook who follows, they're a celebrity in India, they actually messaged me saying that same thing happened with my chart. My 8th house has Jupiter transiting, 12th house has Saturn transiting, and I met you as a guru. Although I'm not a guru, but it was just strange to see that accuracy. I know who this person is. I'm not going to say the name or but they're in the entertainment industry in India. They're quite big too. You probably all know who this person is. But that's how this transit happened now. So from the 8th house, Jupiter, looking at the 12th house, Saturn, can take this person to foreign lands or suddenly have them meet some guru in foreign lands, because Jupiter is a guru in the 8th house of mysticism, occult. Saturn is exalted in the 12th house of spirituality. So they can get married and they can suddenly go to foreign lands at the same time in this time period. So you see how two events can happen from the ascendant and from the moon for this person. It can also represent somebody might get sick, somebody might have to go to hospital for curing their illness. But the reason why this is not bad, no matter where this transit is really happening, is remember what I told you in video 1. Jupiter always blesses it. So if Jupiter is in the 8th house, blessing Saturn in the 12th house, most likely this Jupiter is first of all protecting this person's health, the 8th house, and the 12th house from taking them into isolated places where they don't want to be. It'll take him to the places they want to be. Like places a person doesn't want to be is jail, hospital, asylum. Where other good places could be monasteries, foreign lands, foreign journeys, spiritual places. Okay, so that's where Jupiter and Saturn can do this effect for a person. Sudden foreign journeys, sudden meeting a foreign guru, sudden changing their spiritual beliefs in this time period. Probably due to marriage, they met their partner, suddenly made them change their belief. So you see how this double transit of Jupiter and Saturn can effectively be seen from the ascendant and from the moon. And a very good example is this one example that I gave you of this celebrity. So this is how you want to look when you look at these things. This is how you want to judge these two phenomena. At the same time, you can look at it from divisional charts as well. Perhaps these two planets are transiting in your D16 chart of property and conveniences, and they're promising an event there that shows that somebody may get a house, somebody may get a new car. So this is how you want to adjust these things. But I wanted to make this video to tell you guys that look, it's not just the ascendant, but moon is just as important. But ascendant is moon are top. Some people even use sun, but I personally don't find that useful. I've done quite a bit of my own research on this, and I found moon and ascendant to be very powerful in that. And according to Parashara, these two things are very important in your chart. Okay, so guys, this was my second part of the Jupiter-Saturn transit phenomena video. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, if you want to know where your Jupiter and Saturn are transiting and where they're placed, including all the other planets, for that, check out the links here, check out my books and the astrological report there. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow with some other video. And actually, no, tomorrow we're going to be announcing the winner of $300 cash prize. I raised it, man. So somebody's going to have a wonderful Christmas tomorrow. Otherwise, see you later. Bye-bye.